that we already did that one. The third email today, I should say, comes to us from, there we go, Mike P., who wrote, hey, John. Where are we at here? Hey, John, I heard recently that Marvel may be looking at Travis Knight to take over the directing duties on Guardians 3. Should the studio wait to see how Bumblebee performs and the reception the movies get, or should they lock up their guy now and get this thing into production sooner rather than later? All right, thanks a lot for the email, Mike. And yes, you guys probably heard there was a rumor that started going around the other day that Travis Knight, who directed the amazing film Kubo and the Two Strings, was being courted, possibly, to direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Now, that is being reported by a lot of people. It's important to keep in mind, though, where this story is coming from. All the outlets that are running this story, that Travis Knight may be directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it all comes from the same place. It's this little website we talked about a few weeks ago because they had another rumor start there. It's a little website called the Disney Insider, right? And it's a Disney fan sort of, it's hard to explain what it is, but that's where this story comes from. They are saying that they heard that they're looking at Travis Knight, director of Kubo and the Two Strings and director of the upcoming Bumblebee movie, to direct possibly Guardians of the Galaxy 3. This is unsubstantiated. This is unconfirmed. There's nothing else to suggest that this might be true. But let's, for the sake of argument, go on the assumption just for a moment that it is true. Would he be a good pick? Well, I love what he did with Kubo and the Two Strings. The guy clearly knows how to tell good narrative, so I'm all for it. I'm all for attaching a good director to properties that I like. Should Disney wait to see how Bumblebee performs? I don't know that that's necessary, because a lot of times the box office performance of a movie, that will excite studios about a director for sure, but it's not necessarily something you can hold against a director if it doesn't work out, because ultimately what it comes down to is that how a movie will do at the box office largely has to do with the marketing campaign, which has nothing to do with the director, right? So sometimes you give that some consideration, sometimes you don't. I think if, and this is a big if Disney truly is looking at Travis Knight, yeah, go ahead and lock him in. If you believe in his narrative storytelling skills and you think this guy's a good filmmaker, go ahead and lock him in and go for it. But again, we as film fans should keep in mind that this should be considered a big rumor at this point. So there's that. By the way, he's not the only name being floated around. There are some other sources out there right now that are claiming that Disney is looking at another director to possibly direct this thing, and that is Bridesmaid director Paul Feig. Paul Feig, they're looking at, that's the report. This is coming out of Birth Movies Death. They're saying that some of the whispers going around is that Paul Feig is a guy they're looking at. Now, here's the thing. Paul Feig is a guy who gets a bad rap because a bunch of people don't like his Ghostbusters movie. That's fine. That's fine. I actually didn't think his Ghostbusters movie was nearly as bad as a lot of people made it out to be. Was it as good as the original? Absolutely not. But he gets a little bit of a bad rap for that movie. But there's something we got to keep in mind. Even if you hated, absolutely detested and hated his movie, absolutely hated Ghostbusters, keep this in mind too. He's directed other films that have been not only hilarious, but big hits. Obviously, there is Bridesmaids. Also, by the way, I don't think any other director has ever directed as many episodes of The Office, maybe the greatest sitcom of all time. I don't think any other director has directed as many episodes as The Office as Paul Feig did. He directed over 15 of those episodes. And by the way, he also directed one of my favorite films this year called A Simple Favor. The one he did with Anna Kendrick and, what's Ryan Reynolds' wife's name again? Blake Lively. Thank you. Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. Fantastic movie. Absolutely fantastic movie. If you didn't see A Simple Favor, you got to check it out. And then, by the way, he also has this little habit of taking smaller films and making them overachieve at the box office. He did The Heat. He did that one. That overperformed at the box office. Then he did Spy, which got much better reviews from the critics and made much more money at the box office than anybody was anticipating. So yeah. You can take your Ghostbusters, but for every one Ghostbusters is about 5 other really impressive things that he's done. Now, again, you got to take the Paul Feig thing with a huge grain of salt. It may very well not be true, but I'm just saying, if he's one of the directors being looked at for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that's not a bad choice. Even if you hate his Ghostbusters, you got to admit it's not a bad choice when you look at his full body of work. So whether it's going to be Travis Knight or whether it's going to be a Paul Feig or somebody else in the middle there, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Or probably, the truth is, it probably won't be either of them. Might end up somebody else. But let's see how this all works out. All right, let's go on to the next email.